Since you have been doing this coaching, it would be interesting to know maybe one experience that you had coaching a client who was 50 plus and how you have helped them consider job opportunities that would be a fit for them.
Yeah, the best example I can give is if you are familiar with Seth Godin. He's a pretty popular coach on a whole nother level. He's actually one of my mentors. I got a chance to connect with him a couple of years ago, so I love his work. He put it extremely well, and this has been reflective of some of the hundreds or so people that I've coached over the last couple of years. When you turn 60, and he was about to turn 60 at the time, he put it as you only have so many bullets left in your gun. In other words, if you have a project that's going to take 5 years, and I have a few of my books behind me. Some of my books took 5 years, but some of those books were written when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. Now I'm middle-aged, if you guys can do the math. And so that time becomes a lot more precious. So what it becomes is, how do you want to spend your life? We have our 20s, we have our 30s, arguably our 40s, to kind of figure out the knobs and figure out what goes what, and maybe discover who we are on some deeper, broader level. Once we get later in life, though, there's a level of insight that we have that younger people don't have. Our job, and my main thing when I coach folks who are in my stage of life or later, is you already know what you want to do, what kind of impact you want to make, and definitely you know what you don't want to do. So there's a level of seriousness to the discussion. And going back to what Seth Godin talked about, he doesn't just take projects and do random things anymore. He's like, no, I'm 60. I might have another 20, maybe 30 years if I'm lucky. How am I going to spend this time? Now, I'm a little bit younger than Seth Godin, but I still have that philosophy because time is short. So to answer your question, I think there's a level of intensity and passion and dedication and focus that happens towards our later years that, honestly, with the people that I coach that are very young, I'm trying to instill what y'all have in them. To be like, if you already know what you love, I figured out that I loved writing when my youngest son is 6. I was younger than him when I realized I loved writing. So I've been blessed with like decades. Some of y'all have actors and creators and all that. Y'all get it. There's certain moments where you're like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Unfortunately, if I get on my soapbox for a minute, we'll sometimes delay that because this is what we should do, or this is what I have to do, or this is what my family will accept. But as we get older, as some of y'all can relate to, those barriers start to go away. As a coach, I'm trying to help people accelerate that process. Because I think in our heart, we know what work gets us up in the morning, what work keeps us alive, what work keeps us going. We have some type of insight into that, or at least we know how we want it to make us feel. And we know when it doesn't make us feel that way.